Okay, thanks everybody for joining. There's other people going to be joining, I believe, but we're going to get started. I really do want to make this interactive. So what I'd like is for some people to give me some, and hello from the Netherlands. Right, I'm going to ask you questions and I want you to give me some examples. So we're going to be workshopping this. I'm going to show you some slides. I'm also going to talk through a real live example. So I'll go onto the slides first, and then we will do a real live example. I'll ask one of you to give me the name of a company. We'll go and take a look at that and work out what their talent pipelines should look like. So let me share my screen first of all and talk through some of the background. So we're talking about talent pipelines and talent pipeline automation. Specifically, first of all, definitions. Now, people in our industry use the term talent pipeline, talent pool, talent network, all interchangeably. And, you know, we need to be more specific. We need to be really more specific when we're talking about talent pipelines. I won't ask you to read all of this. A talent pool is basically a list. It's a list of people you might hire in the future. A talent pipeline is that list, but it's that list filtered according to who's cold, who's warm, and who's hire ready. That's how we recommend filtering your talent pipeline. If you think about it like a sales pipeline is not a list of people you might sell something to. A sales pipeline is who's the total addressable market, who are the people that you know you have some kind of relationship with, and who's likely to be buying in the next month or the next quarter or whatever it might be. So a talent pipeline is not a list. Okay, a talent community, again, that's not a list, and that's not a talent pipeline either. Talent community only exists when people can talk to each other. So a Facebook group might be a talent community. You could have a Slack channel. There's lots of different ways of creating talent communities. Look up green-club.eu. The absolute very best example of a talent community for me is Specsavers Green Club, because it's all about skills. It's all about skills for optometrists. It doesn't really mention Specsavers anywhere. Now, the benefits of talent pipelining, there's lots of them. Specifically, getting to shortlist faster, bringing more people through a funnel, saving recruiters and sourcers huge amounts of time, getting much better at recruitment marketing and candidate nurture. So one of the things that we want to identify from our talent pipeline is who's where. So we think about it in terms of this wheel. This is a talent pipeline. So who's unaware of your organization? Who's aware but doing nothing to demonstrate they're ready for a conversation yet? Who's educating themselves on your organization? Who's more deeply considering should they apply? Who's applied, been hired, and not been hired? Now, using your talent pipeline software plus your applicant tracking system together, you get a full picture of this. What that means is your recruiters can spend their valuable human time just talking to these people in the consideration phase when the vacancy goes live. They get to shortlist much faster, they fill more jobs, 50% more jobs per person when they're doing talent pipelining in a really sophisticated way. So it's a huge productivity tool. We think about why this is important. It's really important because when I started in recruitment, candidates could become independently aware of an organization through publicly available information, and then they had to talk to a recruiter very early in their journey. Today, however, candidates can find out all about your organization. They can find out your inside leg measurement. They know who they'd be working with. They know exactly what their objectives would be. They might know what their OKRs are. They can get loads of that information. And so they don't really need to talk to recruiters until they're much further on in their journey. So we think about this in terms of a journey. Who's cold, who's warm, who is what we call hire ready. So you want sourcers and recruiters operating in this area up here, converting people from warm into becoming hire ready. You want technology and a marketing approach doing all of this work down here, getting people from cold into warm. According to LinkedIn, in normal circumstances, 80% of people are not looking for a job. So they're going to be down in cold, and they're going to be uninterested in your job descriptions. So what do you do to get them from cold to warm? Well, what you do is you nurture them. You nurture them so that you can see this type of thing. Who do you call first? So if you can see that in the last week, John opened an email, whereas Jane opened an email, clicked a link, looked at your landing page, looked at your company on Glassdoor and YouTube and the hiring manager's LinkedIn and the job description, clearly Jane is going to be more likely to be ready for a conversation than John. So this who do you call first is not a trick question. You call Jane first. If you've got 200 Johns and Janes, you want to be able to filter them in a way whereby you can see all the Janes who are really active right now, they're up at the top, and the Johns who aren't really doing anything, they're a bit further down. So the way that we do this is we apply points to the different actions. So for example, John's got 1 point for opening the email. Jane, however, has 1 point for opening the email, 1 for clicking the link, 3 for looking at the landing page, 3 for looking at your company on Glassdoor, 3 for looking at the YouTube video, 5 for looking at the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile, and 10 for looking at the job description. So this is the way that we go about doing this. You can do this on a manual basis. You can use bit.ly links and you can track link clicks, and then you can see kind of who's been doing different things. It's better to automate it, but it is possible to do this on a manual basis. Now, what we want to do is to really build up our talent pipelines. We want to create a content map, and we want to use this for sharing with people, sharing the right content with the right types of people. So we recommend content for people who are cold, people who are warm, and people who are hire ready. There's some examples of different channels here. There's some examples of different content formats here. In terms of content suggestions, this is the most important bit. 80% of people are cold. We estimate 10% are warm and 10% are hire ready from the data across a variety of my customers. So for those people who are cold, they don't want your job descriptions or anything like that. What we want to do is share with them things like industry insights, skills, career advice, networking events, that type of thing. For those who are warm, we want to share things with them, which are like, what's it really like to work at your organization? What's your employer brand all about? And then for those who are hire ready, it's like, what's the job description all about, and that type of thing. So let me see. I've got another question here. Okay. Moving on a little bit further, we also want to be able to score the interactions based on the kind of model that I showed earlier, but this is a bit more detailed. So down at the bottom, this is channels and formats. Somebody opens an email, you might score that 1 point. If they watch the video, you might score that higher, 5 points, because they're deeper into the content. Then down the left-hand side, these are subjects. So if somebody's looking at skills for software engineers, might score 1 point. They're looking at the software engineer job description, it might score 10 points and trigger an alert to go to a recruiter. Because that's another aspect of talent pipelining, is lead generation. You want leads coming into your recruiters with hot candidates, candidates who you didn't know were ready for conversation. They've done some meaningful interactions in the last day or two, and you want a prompt going into your recruiter by email, by text message, to say, this person's just been doing this activity and is worthwhile having a conversation with. So we think about this in terms of marketing automation. Let me show you an example of the kind of thing that you can do when you've got marketing automation powering this type of candidate nurture. So this is a job alert. I'm going to make this a lot bigger so we can see what this job alert looks like. So this is the kind of thing we want to happen. You're going to generate 40% more applicants from your existing database if you've got workflows like this that are running. So in this example, this is for data scientists, for a big data science company, data company, basically. They send out an email to all the data scientists. If the email is not opened, then 2 days later, they get the same email with a different subject heading. If that is not opened, 2 days later, they get a text message with the same call to action. If they don't click the link from that, these candidates are deleted because they were scraped off LinkedIn at the beginning. So there's no legitimate interest to have their data on your system in that case. Now, if they click the link from the email or the original email, then they get 1 point for doing that. If they then visit the career site, they get another 5 points. They get marked as higher as warm. If they then click swipe right to confirm they've got machine learning skills, then they are automatically move into the machine learning pipeline. If they look at the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile, they get another 2 points. If they look at the job description, they get 10 points. They get marked as hire ready. The sourcer gets an alert, or the recruiter gets an alert, and they move into the hire ready campaign. So this is the kind of thing you can do when you've got automation technology powering your talent pipelines. A little bit more about this. So here's an example of the kind of journey that you can take a candidate on. And this is all really personalized. So you set up workflows at the beginning so that instead of everybody getting the same message, they're all getting a different experience based on what they clicked last. So in this example, Jane is an auditor at this firm, DWC. She's received an email in January from the head of the financial services practice at this other firm, KMPG. And then she's taken a look at that. She's opened it, she's read the information. And then the following month, she's got another email with a 5-minute video with an interview between somebody at KMPG and one of their customers at Mogren Staley. She watches the video. Automatically, the following month, she receives an email to attend a networking event at this company, Mogren Staley, sponsored by KMPG. She clicks on the accept button to go to the event. She receives an email the following month with an infographic, which she would have found interesting, but she didn't open the email. She missed the email. So automatically, she therefore received a text message. She clicked on the link from the text message, and then the following month, she got another text message, and she got another text message because she appeared to have stopped opening emails. I think it was just a mistake, but regardless, she definitely opens a text message, clicks on links from text messages. So she got another text message, this time with a story about somebody at KMPG who progressed up the ranks quickly to become a partner of that firm. And then because she clicked on that, 2 days later, she got a personal message from this individual who the first email had come from back 4 months ago, inviting her to lunch, and she's then turned up for lunch. Now, every single thing right up until the point of the lunch has been automated. That's all complete automation. So there could be 50 different candidates within this one talent pipeline, and they're all getting something slightly different. This is it's automated sourcing. We call it talent pipeline automation, but it's also sourcing automation. It's recruitment marketing automation, and it's sourcing automation. Now, in order to really understand more about individuals at scale on an automated basis, and to really segment your talent pipelines, you want to do what we call progressive profiling. Progressive profiling is all about finding out more information about individuals. If you're on YouTube, you probably, unless you've got a premium account, you probably get a video a question every 5 videos, and that is, which of these brands of shaving foam have you seen advertising here recently? Or which of these locations would you consider going on holiday, and things like that. That's YouTube building up more information about you, so it can serve you with more and more personalized videos and adverts. In this example, really straightforward, the candidate views the video about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence gets added as either a skill or as an interest onto that candidate's profile within the talent pipeline, and they move into the pipeline for artificial intelligence, or it could be they're segmented further into a specific area of AI. You want to be able to visualize your pipelines so that when the hiring managers say to you, right, what does my pipeline look like? You want to be able to actually show them. It looks like this. I've got 250 cold engineers, 499 who are warm, and 250 who are hire ready. Let's move on to a couple of examples of content, because I think you might be interested in in this. So, where's the content examples gone? Here we go. Okay. There's a few in here, which are quite interesting. These are all for recruitment agencies, specifically. Content examples. So some of these are for other large employers as well. Now, how do we build goodwill with candidates? We build goodwill with the candidates that we might want to be nurturing for the future by giving them useful things. I mentioned Specsavers earlier because I really admire this company. Here's a great example of something they've been doing recently. They've been using this celebrity optometrist, Dr. Danson. And Dr. Danson's been doing presentations about lots of different technical skills for optometrists. In this example, it is sign up on our Facebook page. And so sign up for the 24th of April, sign up on the 1st of May. So they're trialing different ways of building engagement with candidates during COVID-19, of course this was. But that was on the Facebook page. Here's one other example. It's a different location. Yeah, so this is via Teams. And this one is with, again, it's about a technical subject, and it's a live session with Trina Johnson, the head of professional advancement at Specsavers, and Sven Timland, who is the optometry director at Specsavers. And they're going to talk about hygiene and infection control policy. Okay, really, really vital, of course, during COVID-19. So leading with value, giving useful things at the beginning. Here's another example. This is Computer Futures, the recruitment agency. This one is, I think this is an email, and this is an invitation to come and join a comedy and networking night. So there's a comedy night with this guy, Arnu van den Bossach, with Fresh Drinks and Funky Bites. I'm going to have to look him up on YouTube because he doesn't look like a comedian. He looks more like a politician or something to me, but I want to find out more. So leading with value, being useful and relevant. Networking events are absolutely great for bringing people through the pipeline and building better relationships with them. Here's another example. So this is an email from the managing director for Europe at this engineering firm, Mott MacDonald. And so it starts off with, were you at our Women in Leadership event on the 24th of October? I spoke about these things. Whether you were there or you weren't, here's a little recap from the discussion. So, and here's a bit of a summary about what was included in that presentation. And they also got a presentation from Caroline Lindsay, the Learning and Development Manager. And here's her slides. Click on here. Candidate clicks on there. Okay, they're building more goodwill with Mott MacDonald. If you'd like to find out more about our equality, diversity, and inclusion within our organization, then click in here to look at our website. Candidate clicks on that because this is a diversity initiative. This is for nurturing specifically female engineers and senior female people in the engineering industry. Candidate clicks on that, and absolutely, the red light will go off, and the candidates will get, the recruiters will get an alert to say that no, out you go, please. Sorry, you can have your prize later. It's almost as if that's staged. No, later on, please. Out you go. Candidates head over to the website, and an alert would go into the recruitment team to say that this candidate's done this particular activity. They then click on any of these websites, and of course, that's just further information that suggests the candidates are interested. You want to put forms all over your content to bring people into your talent pipelines. Another Mott MacDonald example, keep in touch. We know how important it is to stay connected, so just submit your details below, and we'll send you regular updates of what we're getting up to. First name, last name, email address. That's it, 15 seconds, not even, 8 seconds to get people to opt in here. So they're clicking to opt in, and they're gonna get, there's a privacy policy here if they really want to see that. Put this on your career site, put it on your landing pages, have links to it from your social networks. If you want useful, relevant information that will help you with your career, click here and fill in this form. That will drop the individuals into the talent pipelines. So there's some good examples. Now, we're going to spend the last 8 minutes really focused on one specific organization. And so, as you can see, this is my whiteboard. We're going to make this a bit more interactive. Can somebody please give me an example of a company that they would like to us to focus on? If you can just type in the name of a business. If you don't type something in, that's okay. I will. I'll select a company at pretty much at random. Let's have a look. Okay, we've got one example, I think. Let's see. Sum Up. Okay, it's not a company I know very well. So let's take a look at Sum Up and let's build out the, okay, great. Okay, credit card machines, mobile chip and PIN, payments company, fintech based in London. All right, so let's go through some of these things that we would consider as we're working on building out our talent pipeline. So data and candidate segmentation. The first thing I want to talk about is we want to know which types of roles are pipelinable and which are not. The one-off every so often we hire a lawyer every 12 months, that's not pipelinable. You're best to go hunting when that type of vacancy comes up. So there will be some roles where every month you got to go hunting. There will be other roles which are absolutely pipelinable. One company I know says that it is for 10 or more of the same types of roles that are moderate to fill, moderate difficulty to fill, they'll create pipelines. If it's 3 or more every year of roles that are really hard to fill, like data science, for example, that is the justification for going ahead and building a pipeline. Because of course, when you build a pipeline, you've got to commit to distributing content to these people to keep them engaged with your brand. So the effort versus reward needs to be worthwhile. So 3 or more really hard to fill roles, 10 or more moderate hard to fill roles. So let's take a look at Sum Up. So this is a okay, so payments company, and I'm gonna have to make a guess because I don't know the company intensively, but probably pipelinable roles will be sales, software engineering. Oops. I'm going to make another guess, which is that things like product and marketing is another area that this candidate will, company will probably create pipelines for. So there are 3 pipelinable areas for a company like this. Let's think about content channels and content formats. So the first thing to explain is a content channel is something like email, text message, WhatsApp. It's a way of delivering your messages. Absolutely, across every company I know, the optimum content channel is email. Email is always number 1. Text message or WhatsApp drives 23% more clicks. Okay. In terms of content formats, again, I can tell you that the number 1 format, it is video. It'll drive 4 times more clicks than any other content format. Number 2 is pretty much, there's not much difference between things like GIFs, memes, job descriptions, blogs. Video is by far and away the number 1. So content channels and content formats. Sustainable sources of content. Let's go on to Sum Up and have a look. What have we got in here? So we've got product information about different card readers. We've got payments information about how that all works. We've got pricing information, online store, and help. Let's see, do we have anything else in terms of career sites or anything like that? We do, but they're right at the bottom of that website. I hope the mobile experience is a little bit different to that. It may be that everybody that looks at this website is on mobile. So we're going to go into about. There will be some information in there that is sustainable sources of content. Contact, not so much. Support center, not so much. Partners, not so much. Developers, possibly. Depends. If it's software people that you're targeting, the affiliate program, probably not so much. The blog, absolutely. The blog is going to be, as long as it's updated, the blog is going to be, they're actually from Berlin based, so it might be, there might be more on the .com site. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. That's right, and I actually knew that this was a Berlin-based company. Okay, so that's a good point. But in this example, the blog could well be rich with content. So blog, jobs, and press. Blog, jobs, and press. Okay, so in terms of sustainable sources of content, we're going to be talking about things like product, marketing, consumer, marketing, blog, press, jobs. These are all things that there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be, pretty regular, up-to-date stuff. Bearing in mind, if I just go back to this slide, most individuals are not going to be hire ready. They're going to be down here in cold. They're going to be interested in industry insights, talent development, career advice, that type of thing. So if there's any content from the CEO or any of the leadership team, people who are doing the actual job itself, in this case, places like Medium and other sources of content. In terms of candidate journey design, this is what we were talking about earlier in terms of this type of thing. What happens next when the candidate gets one piece of content and they interact with that content? What do they get next? So journey design is something that is very important. Incidentally, I'm going to send you, everybody that's signed up for this, you're going to get an email with a bunch of bits of content which are going to be useful. You'll get the presentation and other things as well. Progressive candidate profile, we've already talked about. That is when the candidates click a particular thing, then continue to stream them further. You've got more information about them. Lead scoring models and lead alerts, we've also talked about in terms of somebody opens an email, it might only score 1%. They watch a video, it's going to score something like 5. And then in terms of operations, connecting technologies and who does what, you can almost do talent pipelining in an ATS. You can almost do it in a CRM, but they're very, very manual. So everything you put in, you have to put information in, and you can't do an awful lot that's automated. So it's difficult to generate ROI with an ATS or a CRM. You might use a specific talent pipeline software that's been built for that and connect it with your applicant tracking system. So that would be the connecting technologies. In terms of who does what, actually nurturing candidates, I believe the two best skill sets for that are people that can do recruitment marketing, which recruiters can do recruitment marketing if they're good at it. They don't have to have experience. And then sourcing. The sourcing skill set is absolutely brilliant for nurturing candidates as well. So sourcers have got really the right mindset. They trial different ways of doing things. They leave no stone unturned. If something doesn't work, they don't do it again. If it does work, then they do it again. They look for better ways of doing things the whole time. And then recruiters probably would be the end recipients of what you get from your talent pipelines. So they'd be the people that are getting the alerts coming in every day to actually actually receive candidates just coming into their inbox who are relevant to the jobs that they're hiring. So what you want them doing is really just focusing on the last mile. You want them just really matching up the candidates with the current vacancies and doing the conversations with the individuals that appear to be hire ready. You don't want them trying to interact with candidates further up the funnel who are not quite ready for a conversation yet. you want to be doing a proper sophisticated talent pipeline approach to bring those people through. I hope that's been interesting. The areas where this is the most powerful are STEM type jobs, scientists, engineers, people in technology, and also sales jobs. There's a lot of requirement for doing this in sales. So I hope that's been interesting. I hope you've got some useful ideas from this. Drop me a note if you've got any specific questions. I always answer any question I get about talent pipelining. And as I say, you'll receive an email with some of the content that I've shared today. And all the very best.